Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Karl Yergey. I am your daughter or son's modern European history teacher for Block A, E, F, or G. And I wanted to make sure to welcome you to the first ever virtual Fall Family Weekend. This is a recording which gives a little bit of information about modern European history. So let's get right to it, as I have only 5 to 10 minutes. The first thing that I want to share with you this morning, this afternoon, or this evening is a little bit about myself, so you know who your daughter or son's instructor is. What you have here in front of you is a little resume related to St. James. You see my name at the top, you see my school email address. This is by far the best way to get in touch with me here on campus, as I have the same student as the in-person on-campus boarding students. Albeit I wake up a little bit earlier or a lot earlier and go to sleep a little bit earlier or a lot earlier than some of them. It's the best means to get in touch with me. In terms of background, this is my 18th year at St. James School. I grew up here in Maryland, but I went to college, undergraduate in Lancaster, Pennsylvania at Franklin and Marshall College, the same place as Mr. Batson, where I got my degree in history. 2 years later, I graduated from Boston College with a degree in early modern and modern European history. And then after teaching for several years, I went and attempted to get my PhD in American history, but as you see, I am ABD, or all but dissertation. I did all the classwork. I took my exams, passed my comprehensives, and then my dissertation committee changed the dissertation topic on me well into my research process, and I said, no thanks. I'm lucky enough to have been published twice, once in an historical journal and the other in a chemistry journal, which we talked about in class just this past week. This past week being the week of October 5th, when we talked about the scientific revolution. So it kind of blew the kids' minds that their history teacher, who is published as a history teacher, is also published as a chemist. You see here the links to the 4 classes that I teach in MEH. Those are not live links, but those are how you can access the same. You note also that I teach United States history for 5th formers. I have had the good fortune not only to teach AP US history, AP European history, and AP United States government and politics, but to serve as a reader for 2 of those topics for the College Board. I've read 15, 20,000 college bound students, AP essays or exams in various settings around the country over the past, you see those years. My academic experience was continued at various and sundry different workshops, some of which allowed me to, for example, the one that's listed at the top, to meet the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but also to do study for 3 weeks in Hawaii, relating to Southeast Asia in World War II, but also relating to civil rights. So you'll see down below, in addition, what I do here on campus. I'm a weekend duty captain. I live above the infirmary. I coach golf. I serve on the Honor Council as one of the 2 faculty representatives, and an evening study hall. At the moment, I'm kind of a floater, but I'm assigned to the McIntyre room, but also helping out in Claggett. Off campus, I like to golf. I like to travel. Some of the pictures here around the back of the classroom are from my golf travel trip this summer with images. So that kind of piques kids' interest at a point. And I am also a bicycle safety advocate. Let me turn then from sharing this information with you to share with you our class on Blackbaud. And this is a moment in class that students are familiar with as I jump back and forth between items that I'm trying to share. And hopefully now you are seeing in front of you Blackbaud. This is obviously taking place, this recording, on Sunday, October 11th. And let me take you simply to A block. A block, I hate to say it this way, they're my guinea pigs in a way, in that I meet with them first of the week, first thing in the morning, Monday morning. And usually they are the first folks to help me to see what I can do with the technology, but also to help me with it. And I have to say that whether in person or virtual, students have been very patient, I've tried to be self-deprecating about my mistakes, and they laugh right along with me at myself. And the kids, the young men and women who we're all trying to help raise, have been very good about saying, Mr. Yergey, I can't see that. Mr. Yergey, could you speak up? And I very much appreciate that. What I want to show you here in the couple of minutes which remain of our time, and this is all information that you should have access to as parents, but the students certainly have access to. Under syllabus, I'm just going to highlight, we've had some issues with the license for the textbook. Thus, whether students have a hardcover, here is the textbook, a hardcover copy of the textbook, or they are remote or have purchased the online version, we have access to, through PDF, all of the chapters. They are all right there for any student's use. Underneath that, you see a handout on the Columbian Exchange, which we'll be using this week, the week of October 12th in class. The great irony is that we start chapter 11 on exploration tomorrow, Monday, October 12th, Columbus Day, although we're not sure, of course, how long that will have that title. And that's what's going on with history, and I think we're all aware of that. In terms of expectations, you have access there to the course overview, which walks you through not only an overview of the class, the different types of questions that you might find on assessments, the grading scale, the grading policy, the honor code, all of which relates back to the St. James School Handbook. How to calculate your grade is just a simple document, which again is clickable, as is the course overview. It's clickable. How to calculate your grade simply tells your daughter or son that all grades are points earned divided by points possible. I'll show you, and they should know already how to access that information. Underneath that, we have a guide, which we talked about during Welcome Week on successful note-taking. The point here is that Mrs. Latchett and Mr. Pillow are the fourth form teachers that many of the students who I have this year will be seeing next year in DevNat. And this is the same thing that they do in their class. So to sequence things up, I've adopted their expectations as well in third form. And then down below are links. Links primarily related Turnitin, SweetSearch, or Purdue Online Writing Lab to the research paper process, which will begin in January, fingers crossed, when students are all going to be here on campus, whether they are international or they are local day students who have not yet been able to return to campus. MEH is roughly 2/3 to 3/4 in person, and we're looking forward to seeing the remaining students come January when it is safe for students to do so. But these three topics, Turnitin, SweetSearch, and Online Purdue OWL, relate to the research process. So let me show you the assignments in the minute or so that remain. Here is an example of the assignments. They've all been posted, as you see, based on the assigned date right here. Students' view is a little bit different. When they click on assignments, they need to click sortable order so they see it in date order rather than by assignment type. But let me show you a quote-unquote typical assignment. And I apologize to the students in A block whose names appear on the left side. I know none of you have worked ahead to October 20th, and I'm not shaming you in saying that. I know that you have not, but this is a typical assignment. You see what it asks to do in terms of reading, what questions to answer, and then how to submit the same. After students have submitted the same, they then in their calendar view can click on the assignment, they can see my feedback, and they can see their grade for that assignment so they can keep track of their grades themselves. And that's by far the easiest way to do it. But you see the assignments are listed here through the end of the month. You see at the end of the month, right at the end of the first marking period, the first quarter, we have our first test of the year. Up to this point, we've had 3 open book, open note quizzes in terms of formative assessments. So that's a brief overview. I realize that's probably pretty hurried, but we were told to keep this to 5 to 10 minutes. The information is there on Blackbaud, but that said, should you have any questions for me, the best way to get in touch with me is through email, akyergey@stjames.edu. Thank you for attending the first ever virtual Fall Family Weekend for Modern European History, blocks A, E, F, or G. I wish you a good day, a safe day, and whether you are a virtual parent or an boarding parent, I look forward to seeing you in the spring when we can all return to campus. So again, thank you.